Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, Clint. How are you, honey? Hi, Patricia. Hi, Linda. My Linda, she's here. Yay. I'm so glad to see you all this morning. I just was up here working and I thought, well, I'm going to just turn it on. I may be back later this afternoon, but I love you too, Patricia, so much, honey. Did you get a notification? Well, you know what? I posted it. Hi, Tasha. How are you, honey? I posted it and then I just sat for a few minutes and then I went online. And I'm thinking that give it time to post if you got one, because that's really, you know, that's strange. I don't know, Clint. I got my booster on it. I moved my location so that I'm closer to the booster, and I think I may have. I hope so. I don't see any buffering right now. That's cool. I'm glad. Good morning, Marina. As y'all can see, this is what I'm working on right here. I decided that I would make, I'm going to make several of these. You can make them out of beer cans. You can make them out of pop cans. You can make them out of anything. This is super simple to make. But I'm needing some because I'm fixing to do what is on my one wall on the other wall. And so I'm going to make me some flowers to put on it. And I'm going to make them rather than buy them. I'm glad you got it holding it one and it's flashing on two, which is good for me. If it holds at one, I have a good string. Five is much better, but that's my upload speed too. And my upload speed is horribly bad. This little piece right here is the bottom of the can. And I cut all of this with a craft knife and a pair of scissors. And that's all I cut with. So that's what we're going to do. And then I'm going to show you how I stained them with my magic markers. And actually, the Crayola markers are the best. And hopefully I've got enough of them, but you can use any kind of stain on them. I forgot to hang on. I'm going to whoa, don't you get my webcam out here. Okay, I'm going to get my webcam out here if I can get this shrunk down just enough that I can pull it out maybe and stop that autofocus. I hate the autofocus because that's what it's doing right now. It's autofocusing. And okay, right here. And uncheck that and see if we can't stop that. There we go. Now, maybe it'll stop that moving back and forth. Good morning. Hi, Janie. Honey, actually, these are so fine. They will cut real smooth. And I can actually hold them from that side and squeeze them, and they don't cut in. The sharp edges will, but you can cut those off and smooth down a pair of scissors. As you can see, you can see that I'm pushing in on that, and it doesn't cut. So, you know, you can't just slide your finger down them. Yeah, I know, but I've done this several times, made these many times before in the past, and most of them went outside. But it's alive. It's got a pulse. I know. It was really flashing there for a minute. I hate autofocus. And of course, anything shiny will make it do that. It will make it do that. And here's my piece. I used a tomato juice can is what I've used. Just so they're small, which I don't like. I'd rather have a beer can. But, you know, because you can get lots more out of it. But I have smoothed down the sides with my scissors. And just you can cut this. I'll get up here underneath the camera. You can cut this with scissors. You see that? They will cut with scissors. So, you know, and that actually makes a really smooth edge. So I've got this on a piece of cardstock, and I've got the bottom of this completely full. And I only done that because I am going to put it on the wall up here. If I was going to put these outside, I would have left a lip around this can and folded it outward, and then have glued to the can itself, the can lid itself. But this is going to sit right in the center of that. So it'll be just like that when we get it done, and after I get it all painted. And I don't even, okay, I'm going to have to pull my camera up so you can, and not get my big belly in there. Okay. I don't even measure my leaves because this is your measurement. Hi, Sabrina. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Glad to see you here. Thank you. This is hand I use, and you can actually, you know, draw your patterns out on them with your seam ripper, you know, just like that. But I don't do them like that. I just go in at the corner and cut to a point, and then come right around that to that point again. And my leaves are not all the same size, but it's okay because nature is not perfect by any means, but that's the beauty of it. So then I'm going to do another one and cut it right around like that. And just cut off those two edges and come around like this. And I may need another can because this may not be big enough because I wanted to have a double layer, and I don't think this will make it. In fact, I just drank this can so I could have the can. I love tomato juice, so, you know, it didn't hurt me any. And we're going to get another one right here. And then that'll be about it. So we're just going to pull it around, and there's our next one. Okay, and then we pick up these edges, and you can, you know, wipe them right out of there. And this metal is really, really thin anymore. It's not, no, I'm not using acrylic paint. I'm using, oh, thank you, Linda. I'm using markers. Some stain laying, you know, I haven't tried it. But any kind of marker that you've got, I don't want a red. But I have to get the ones out that are colored, and Lord knows where they're at, but I'll get a piece down here and I'll show you. You can rub on here and you see how they slide around. See how that's, you can see you can take and just blend them in, and see, you can't do that with the permanent markers. So I've got to find my water-based markers because that one didn't work. I have them under here. If I can get this closed, my paint's closed because I used them this morning. I keep them down under here because I use them to make ink. So I have a whole box of water-based markers down under here. There's a few Sharpies and these are the best. The fabric markers, these are the best ones. And we'll get another piece so I can, if this is all right. Okay. Lighten it up to the shade you want. You can go back over it, add more. And if you have definition in here, it will go around it. Like you can take this and make several lines on the back side. And then when you go over this, see how it highlights those lines? And anyway, you can just stain them with these markers. So, hi Clara, Kathy. Good to see you. Anyway, so that's what I plan on doing if I can find. This is one of them I need if I can find enough to do it. But I make ink out of these, so I get in trouble because I've used up all my colors. We might want a purple. We might want an orange. I might find enough to do it. We might want a yellow. And don't forget your black because you want a little darkness in it too. Always want a little darkness for the light to pop. So anyway, we'll get a few of those out. I'll set my paint back up in there so I can shut this door. And put my soap down. I've got to show you what I was sent to. You see these? Oh, I'm backwards. See these? Why is this focusing backwards? I don't understand that. It's all backwards. Okay, I've got my camera messed up here. I'm going to flip you over and back down. Nope, that didn't do it. Huh. Oh, well. Anyway, CJ sent me this set of oil colors. And I'm going to try to start oil painting. And I have done some oil painting in the past. And in fact, it's what I learned on. And so anyway, I was so tickled when I got those in the mail. I was just thrilled. Now the only thing is I've got to go down to my son's, and I'm going to rob his cabinet because my son's a contractor, and I know he has linseed oil, and I know he has mineral spirits down there, and I'm not going to go buy them. I'm just going to go get them. So anyway, now I'm crooked here. And I guess it doesn't matter if the writing is backwards. That's kind of weird. But as long as you can see the progress on this, we'll be okay. To make the flower, I turn it over, and I like to make a line down them with my tip of my marker. And that didn't show up very good, so we're going to do it again. And I'm going to let it run this way, I think. Yeah, maybe this way. Anyway, I'm going to fold up this edge upward towards me so that it has a flat base to set on. And then I'm going to take it and fold it down. Just run your finger over it to make it do that. Like I said, these are not sharp. It was not backwards to you. Well, good, because it was to me. And then you just lay it down here and fix it so it'll set on your card. I'm using just nothing but silicone glue. And girls, I bought this on Amazon from a company that is locally owned, and they make their own glue. And I'm telling you what, this is good glue. It's liquid silicone, and it's www.topenca.com. And I bought it on Amazon, and I'm telling you, I really like it. I really like it. It's clear, it dries fast, it holds well. You have a little bit of string in with it, but not bad. And it's much, much easier to use than the Fabri-Tac, which is a silicone glue. And it was cheaper. So, and what was email from them asking how I liked it, and that they were tickled that I had ordered from them, and thank you so much for my order. And I bought 1 bottle of glue, 1 bottle, and they did all that. So that was really nice. Customer service is something that's beginning to be a thing of the past. And that really bugs me because I worked retail for a long time, and customer service was our #1 goal, was to provide good customer service. And here, I've got my petals overlapping. I'm going to have a couple extra, and I'm not going to have enough to do another round like I was hoping, but that's all right. We don't have to have double the flowers every time. I'm going to put enough glue across there to get the next 2. Okay, we're going to fold this one back. And like I said, run your finger across that. Once you get them cut and get them smooth with your scissors, they're no more sharp than a piece of paper, really. And then I'm going to stick that one down. Bend this towards you, and then go backwards to make your flower petal curl. Just rub it out like that. And there's your curl. And I actually think I could probably get 1 more in here. Not too stuck already. And this silicone gives you a little bit of time to work, which is one of the reasons why I like it, because you can position it, but it is very tacky. Once you play with it, you've played with it and it knows it. So we're going to put 1 more in there just to give us a good full flower. Bend that up and that backwards. And I'm going to put that one right there. Come on. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit more glue. And these are not real flowers, so you don't have to worry about, I forgot to put my line in that one. You don't have to worry about them being perfect. They're not perfect flowers. I'm going to go ahead and add this one right here in this gap to fill that up. And I'm maybe getting out of frame, and I hope not, but I don't like what I've done right there, so I'm just going to fill up that gap. Don't you fall over. And I have used the other side and let the other side be the color of your flower. As you can see, it's very colorful like that. You can do that. I like to play around with my stain. So, you know, so now I'm just going to go around the center of this with my glue. And I've had this open for a little bit, so I've got a little glunk in it, and it's causing me to have to squeeze a little harder than I want to. Now I'm going to glue everything down with that in the center. And I'm going to push it down real hard. And then you can kind of play with your flowers, your petals just a little bit if you want to. If it's still, you know, they're not down too tough, you can move them around, kind of put them where you want. And there we have a flower. And it's just that simple. Hi, Pink Rose. How are you? So, you know, you have to keep cleaning up after yourself because your glue is going to get on them. And, you know, it will stick to them. But you can, the silicone glue, you can get off pretty easily. And if you have some on the outside of the leaves, you can press them down and then just fold it back up and it'll go right back up where you want it to go. Because I strung some glue that time. It always happens when I'm online, you know, that I get glue everywhere. So, you know, you can always go back and pull them down where you want them. You can pull them down flatter. You can make them curl up more. You can do whatever you want to with them. And come in here with my brown, and I'm going to go coloring. And these are fabric markers, and I really like them because they've got a big tip. And they're really juicy markers. And okay, and you want to go kind of down in the edges of your petals with them, so you get around the edge of your can lid. So you get all the edges of it, and that shadow down in there too. And then you can take your finger and you can move that around and manipulate it and make it look a little more like stain. You can get the glue off of it, which I didn't get all off. And you can make it lighter or darker, however you want to do. You can take your black and go down in here and give it a little darker color down in there. You can actually add a few strips of black across that and rub them in with your brown and change the colors. See how that darkened that down? That's how I stain them. And they hold real well outside once you stain them. You would not think so. But once these dry, these fabric markers, once they dry, they are permanent. So the color holds up in them good. And that's why I like to use the fabric markers today. And these are going to be inside on the wall. And this is what, if I had an embossing machine, I would have embossed them. But I'm going to put this up. See the flowers I have up here? I bought those, and they're very expensive, but they are embossed and they are gorgeous. I bought them at the dollar store, but who knows if they will ever have them again. So I'm making my own. And if I had an embossing machine, I would have embossed this metal, and it can be embossed on just your Cuttlebug or your Big Shot or whatever you have. I don't have any embossing folders or a cutter that will do that. So, in fact, my cutter is so small, it's like anything over 3 inches, it will not run through. But you can take the whole sheet of that can and put them in your what do you do with the flowers? I'm putting these on my wall. I'm making wall art. And you can put them outdoors. You can put them in your flower gardens. You can make pinwheels out. I can find it. Let me go in here in my other room, and I will show you my box. Okay, you'll have to excuse the state of my box because this sat outside for a long time on the porch as a hold everything box. Now it holds my cutters and my seam rippers and that kind of thing. But you see my Minnie Mouse? She is on can. So I just, like I was doing on these petals, making the lines in them. Like this one right here doesn't have a line. You can just out there, the little things that would come out like screwdrivers and things like that. If we seen one laying out there, we'd pick it up, put it in the box, and then we'd clean the box out later on. And hi, Vanessa. Honey, I had watched somebody make them, and I decided that I would try to make one. Now, they use the regular side of the can. They use this, which is fine if you're going to put them outside. These are very colorful, but I don't like that. I really don't want the advertise this one, because this is my permanent one. But this I discovered by accident, just trying out what I wanted to use on them. And I found that at that time I was sewing, and so I had a whole set of these. But I found out that these actually will stay, and then they will stay. So now I'm going to put some yellow on this, and I will probably add some of the orange if I can get it to work. I never know if they'll work or not, because some of these Tom had for years and years. And there's some of the orange. And it's already drying, so you have to, if you're going to blend, you have to blend pretty quick, because they will dry on you, like that one just did. So I'm going to add some more yellow. And I take the orange, and I can bring that orange right out of the base. I'm doing this in them wet, and you really should let them dry. But I'm going to bring that orange now where I put the black and the brown. I'm going to try to put this orange. Let's try this other tip. My orange is just about gone. It's not going to do it. I don't want that. I don't want it not to do it. Okay. Orange is dead. So we're not going to use orange highlight, so we'll use the brown. But we can make a brown strip coming up on them so they look like they have some, color down here. Blend that out. Blend it upward. Do it again. Blend it upwards. Blend it. Blend it up. Blend it. And sometimes when you touch them a lot, like I have been wrestling this one, you lose your, blend that one up for sure because it's got the paint on it already. And this one. And don't forget the ones behind, because here behind. And blend them up. I'm going to go over that again because it's looking a little bit dull. And you actually, the brown will almost make a coppery finish. You see how that looks? You don't even have to do anything to it. Just throw it over it and right up to the tip. Flour, same way with this. Blend that brown up. Come with this one, and I'll have to get underneath here. You just fold it up. Blend it up. You can do this before you glue them. You can color all of your leaves, have them all ready to go. Oh, got my finger in that one again. But it's very forgiving because it to this end. Come here. And I will do this several times and pick up the edges where I didn't get it real well. But your can shining in it too gives it a certain look to it and a shine to it. And yeah, I do. I need to go get me a whole set of these fabric markers again. And if you haven't ever used them, they are really, really good markers. And like I said, they're very juicy. And something like that, you really need something that's going to lay the color down and, that you can play with. And I love sunflower looking flowers. I love daisies. I love the black-eyed Susans that are alongside the road. Any of those flowers just have always fascinated me. Your eye is always drawn to that bright color, and they're so pretty just to see spring up. And you don't have, yeah, I like the yellow on here. It's brightening it. It's giving it some definition, and it needs more coats. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but you have to let it dry a certain amount of time before you can go back. We're going to take this brown and go right back over that because I stuck my finger across it. And we're going to give it another. You can just layer it on there, just however many layers you want to put. And you can even go back in and draw you some more lines up your yellow because you have fanned them out now. Yeah, you can go in and make you some little wispy coming off of that. And then you can take your black marker, you can go in and give it more definition again with your black marker. Your dark brings out your light. Always remember that. You want to put your dark in and then, put your light in. And then if you have to, go back and put some more dark in because it always brings out the light. And, you can go in and you could actually shadow the edges of these with some brown, which would give them some definition. I don't know what I did with the lid off of that one, but you could go in with your darker orange or your brown. And I'll have to find the lid for that. It's here somewhere. Don't want it to dry up. Let's go in with a brown. And what I'm going to do is to turn this to the side, and I'm going to come right up this petal all the way to the top. You see what that did? And now you can kind of fan it out. And you can take your finger. And if you don't like what you've done, because that's your shadow. You go back over it with your, and if you do that on every petal, see there's some dark going to be right down in there, definitely. So you want to get real dark down in there and come out to this edge. And this makes the light come in from this side. And so if you did every petal on this side with some dark, you'd have some shadow coming in them. And you take your yellow and you go back over them and spread that, just slightly spread it out so that it comes kind of to the center of that petal. Soften that edge. And that gives you some darkness. But anyway, that'll give you some definition to your, hi Christine, give you some definition to your flower. You don't have to do that. You can just do the yellow. You know, there's my light is going to come from everywhere in here, so I don't have to worry about the light and the dark or whatever. But if you're having this outside, though, it does help pick up, you know, it helps pick up the color. I'm trying to get under the light. But this is not something you can't go back over and work out. See how I'm working this one out? I thought that was just too much there. I'm going to just work it out. Work it across my petal. Darken this up so that it's darker. And you can just smooth it back out. This one the same way. We can move this around, move it up, and then come down this edge and under there. You know, this is a step-by-step, layer-by-layer type thing. You just have to kind of feel your way. You know, on it, how you want them to look, or you want to. I happen to love yellow. That is one of my favorite colors. And I will probably go in and darken these probably all the way around now that I've started that. And if you really don't like it, you can wipe it off. Yes, it adds dimension to them. It gives them a little bit of layered effect. It doesn't make them look so one layer. But you know, not dimension anyway. By if you put 2 rows on this, you've got dimension, and you can put another row on the inside and cut them a little bit smaller, and it'll give you a second layer that's not as big, and it really pops it out. I actually made a dahlia out of metal, and I had 6 or 7 rows of metal on it, and it turned out really, really pretty. Anyway, I was just wanting to play around this morning and show you what I'd done. I had been painting. I sat up here and painted a little bit this morning. Finished my tag that I made for Spanky's. Yeah, you can put these on a dowel. You can scum on. You can make leaves. And I don't have any more metal up here, or I would do the leaves. Leaves way. You put your veins in with a pencil or something sharper. And you start out, you cut the top off of it with this. And that's when you have to. But if you hold on to the bottom of that can and cut straight into it with your cutter, go straight down into it, and then start kind of sawing backwards, then you can level out your knife and cut all the way around it. When you get that off, go around the top of your can with your scissors. And once you go around the top of the can with the scissors, it's smooth enough that I can pick this up like this. I'm not a bit worried about picking it up, holding it, handling it, you know, taking it out and or putting it on the wall. I save the tab. This is how I'm going to hang them, is I will turn this over and I save the tab right here. they're pretty flexible. They're not great, but they're pretty flexible. I will pull that up just a little bit, and then I will take my tab, and you all have seen people put pop can tabs on, and it's the same way. And you just lay it right down in the silicone, and there's your hanging tab. And that's how I will hang them on the wall. So that's how you make a metal flower. And well, these, like I said, I drink tomato juice, so I had these. I do tomato juice because of the potassium in it. And so I've got the lid on thing. Well, hi, my boy. Let's try it that way. So my grandson just come up to join us. I'm on live stream. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
You like it, Malia? I like it. It needs some more work on it. I've got my colors still laying here, and I will work some more. But I like, and then go back in, and metal. So I've got one petal here that still has not gotten any strip on it that I noticed, but it's probably harder for you to see. But there is one petal that has not got a line in it. I think it's this one right here. And that kind of thing drives me crazy. So I would lay that down and take my pencil.
I can't say that.
Newbie Cheryl?
Newbie Cheryl.
So good to see you all. Anyway, this is that's my little tutorial for today, and I hope you try them because really it is not that dangerous. I didn't get cut at all. I thought I had a little red tomato juice on me. I had tomato juice all over because I had the kids actually bring me up a can of tomato juice so that I could make this. What, honey? Yes, I do wish I would show you another one. So simple to make. You can't do it with, this is something you cannot do with plastic. It's something that you can't. No, I didn't sand the sides of the can. I cut them with a pair of scissors. These are my craft scissors. I cut them with my craft scissors, and it just cuts them down smooth. Go down and get me another can of tomato juice, and I will drink the can of tomato juice again. I'll get it. I will get another can. So anyway, that's this one, and we'll just set it over and let it dry. There's Spanky's tag, the purple one. Painting with purple is not one of what? Who's so funny? That I would drink another can of tomato juice so y'all could see it. Well, the size of these cans is very small. It's not like
I don't like them. I really don't like them. I tried them.
But I will because I love it. It doesn't take long to drink it either. But yeah. And I will turn the camera up and see I am upside down. Hey, I've messed my camera up when I move my computer. I messed my camera up. Hi, everybody. How are you? How are you today? Peyton, you going to get in the camera and say hi?
Hi.
That's my boy. Honey, I'm better today. I don't look much better because I haven't done any makeup, and I'm still in my pajamas. And I'm hot. Take a pencil over there and turn that off. I've got a button missing, so we have to poke it with a pencil.
Turn it off.
Oh, that's fine, honey. I love tomato juice. So I'm going to drink it anyway. And I'm looking sideways, and I'm sorry because I need to look this way. But it's so hard to look at this camera and not see anything. when the chat and pictures over here, it's a good thing I like tomato juice, but it's great for potassium. Hear me, girls? It's good for potassium. Get the Mary finger out here.
No, don't believe her. Don't believe her.
Peyton, you don't like vegetables of any kind.
Yeah, I do. I eat carrots. I eat my veggies.
Oh, I do not. Oh my God, don't say that. I am a mess. And you could probably see my beard and, yes, I'm a mess. I am a mess. I cleaned up here. I have to look over that way, so I'm sorry. If it doesn't look like I'm talking to you, I am, because I'm looking at the chat. I like V8, but you know what? I read on V8, Campbell's is cheaper. And all of the V8 says it's so much vegetables, and actually they have no food value. What's in it? It's so if you the tomato juice has just as much power to it as V8. So I went to the tomato juice, and I absolutely love to drink tomato juice. I always have. Of course, I love fresh tomatoes and garden tomatoes, and this tastes more like a garden tomato than anything I've done or seen. So, except for my grandmother's, and oh my God, she could make the best tomato juice.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay. Yay.
Peyton's decided he's going to leave us. I cleaned in my craft room, and I don't know if I showed you all that I'm so proud that I moved it around. I was sitting in the window, and my room was cut in half, just directly in half. And I had such a small area to craft in that I would craft myself out of room. It was horrible. So, I mean, I couldn't, every time I got out, even just a box or a jar or a paper pad, I would have just piles of stuff before you knew it around me. Because I couldn't utilize my cabinet and that kind of thing. So and I'm going to pick it up a little bit here because I'm fixing to move the camera around and let you see what I did, because I've moved it. I'm sorry, I'm bending over and I've got stuff out on my cabinet because I have been working here. But I've moved it back to the stairwell. So I'm actually sitting on the stairwell. Where I have a rail that goes across it that's made out of 2x4 or 2x2 post, and then 1x4 wood. My husband designed it, and it's 1x4 strips on both sides holding it up, and it is really well made. It's got huge posts in it, so it's got lots and lots of strength to it. And so that's where I put, and that way I've got my computer, which I can show you. I've got my computer. I think I can get it over here, right over here. And that's the start of my craft wall. This is the stuff that I use most of all, my glues, my gessos, that kind of stuff. And then it works over here to the back. And then this is my paper. And you can go up to the top. You can see my books and come down and down to the floor to my papers, with of course my water bottle because I have to bring water up here. This cabinet is full of my paint and some paper things that I use all the time in here. There's a little cabinet right here that has a drawer in it. This is where my washi tape goes. Then down in the bottom, because the knob is off of it and it's a pain in the butt to get into, it's got stuff that I don't use very much. And then over in the corner, I have my laces in a tote. Then if you come on around here, you can see the rest of my shelf up to the top. And this is my window. And I put my baker's rack in the window. And this space we built for the kids when they were up here. And this was their work area, their homework area. And we had two desks on a desk on each side. And so this was their work area for, their school homework and that kind of thing. So they weren't down in the floor. They had individual lights over each area, and which have gone out. So anyway, I put my baker's rack in here and decorated it. Whoop, come here, camera. Don't you be going off screw on me. Okay. Up on the top of that is my boys as they were growing up. And then you come down, there's my books that I have made. And then down below there is my napkins and my air freshener and my, what I call my metal box and my metal cans. No, I will have to move it in the summer. I will have to move it in the summer, but I can move it off to the side. So, and then you can come around and there is more shelves on that side. And then I don't know if my cord will reach much farther to get a glimpse of the wall. And that card over there is my individual paper card. And so you can see I've got a lot of room. Now that I've took it out of the middle of the floor, I have a lot of room to work again. Who's Zigrid? 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 Who is Zigrid? And what do they sell? Oh, for heartburn? Okay. I lost out on that, showing my room around. But anyway, I'm so pleased to have. The only thing I wish I could show you, and I will because I can bring it over. My granddaughter told me I just had to have this. I bought this at Hobby Lobby and cardboard. So it sits over at the head of the stairway because it's pretty to look at when you come upstairs. And it says fresh eggs, and there's absolutely no place in my kitchen for it. And I don't know what I do with it in the kitchen anyway. So, but I like it. But I like it. And my chair needs to be recovered. So, anyway, I'm about to get this done. That was the last of it. I'm going to turn my can upside down, drain the rest of it out on this paper towel, and put my camera back down and get it focused back in. I want it back this way a little bit. And so now you've seen my whole room, and I'm really pleased with it. I did this all myself. I had a little rough time lately, and I'm going to tell you girls one of the reasons why I haven't been on. When my husband died, my mother had died 1 month before him. And then, Herb was just really bad. So he was gone then. And then I got sick not too long after that. And I started, I didn't go anywhere for, several months. I had a grieving period, but it was not, I didn't really grieve for him. It was more of a letdown. Can't you see what? I know, I know. Well, no, don't be sorry, Patricia. Uh, the last month or so, I have been building up, I think, uh, to what crisis, this thing that I have been in. And I have not been able to craft. I've not been able to do anything because I have been grieving. And I think my dad got sick right after after Herb died, and we had to take care of him. And then by that time I had gotten myself busy, and I was just staying busy, and I had things to do, and I was working, and I had places to go, and I could get out. And now I'm at home, and I've got 24 watch on Tom. Uh, and the doctor reiterates every time I go in that 1 in 1,000 dies, of this every day, blah, blah, blah. He needs to be watched on 24 hours a day, which I can't do. And I know I can't do it. And I'm playing with a lemonade can. So anyway, it just kind of come to a head. And I'm better now. Once I went off that slide, told Kathy I had gone down the rabbit hole. And that's what it felt like. I had gone down the rabbit hole. And when I get blue or when I get depressed or whatever, it don't take me no 2 weeks to rearrange, because if I decide to do something, and that's my therapy, and it always has been, is to revisit. It revisits, and this time it revisited hard. But I have, I put it off. I have swallowed it back, and I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off. And when it hit me this time, it really hit home. And because my dream has been a recurring dream of him being with me and him not letting me touch him, and I'm not able to touch him, and I'm not supposed to touch him, and he won't touch me. And so then, it related to a head where I woke up yelling, "It's because you died." And that's when I broke down. And I'm not asking for sympathy, because it's something I needed to do. It's something that I should have done a long time ago, and I didn't. And now I talked to my sister, and I talked to my son, and I talked to Kathy, our Kathy. And it really did help. It helped a lot. Yeah, it really kicked mine. I said I went through the rabbit hole, and I didn't know if I was ever going to get out. And things had just been piling up and piling up and piling up. And the bills have just been piling up, and the things, and I'm not asking for money, so I don't think you have to do that. No. It's a no. Don't do that, because this is life. Bills and all that kind of stuff is life. you know. It just really hit me. So that's why I haven't been coming on as much. So if you don't see me on for a while, that's the reason. There's just times when I just absolutely cannot function with it. And it usually happens in a dream, and they usually happen early morning. And no, you never get over it. You really do. You never get over it. And he was the love of my life, and I'm not, I make no bones about that. I'm not showing that I am. Is everybody else? I'm spinning, huh? Oh my gosh, I hope not. Okay, now I'm going to cut around the edge. Don't let the pieces pop off where you can't see where they went. I know better than that. I'm going to go right here where I can get a hold of it. in this area. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut right around the edge. And I hope you all are seeing me. All right, I'm back. Okay. You see how I'm cutting right around the edge of that? I'm cutting up all the rough stuff with that pair of scissors. And every now and then your scissors will come off of it. And if it does, you just go back and then you can pick up those little points that you've missed. And then your edge of your can is smooth. And it's dirty. And it's dirty. So now I'm going to clean that out with that paper towel. And I'll get the rest of it when I get the bottom off. Okay, the bottom, the way I get it off is I go back here on the back somewhere and I cut right down to the bottom. And I lift my scissors up because that gives you a little bit of a spot to go in. Then you can cut right around your bottom. And because you've smoothed your top, you can hold on to your top. You can cut right around the bottom and come right off of it. And then there's your piece of metal. And I could actually work with that because even though it's dirty and I'm going to have tomato juice all over me, because I have cut it with scissors and it's made it smooth. And I'm not cut. This is all just tomato juice. Find my wipes here. I'll clean it up and clean my pan off. And I do clean my mat when I get done cutting so that I pick up all the pieces and get them in one. Then I just rub down the can. And that's going to take all that off of there. And you can see how smooth that edge is, you know, when you rub across it. And if you see a spot that looks like it has a little burr, take your scissors and just trim it off. The burrs are what will cut you. That's the things that will get you. Oh, here I got to clean my bottom. So I'm going to take this, run it right around there. And you see how I've got this ridge now on the bottom? See how it's got a lip across the bottom? What I do to be able to hook the flowers on it is I cut that ridge like here. And then I come right in here and I cut it. I come right in here and cut it. And I cut it there. And I cut it here. And now this, I would use some pliers on that you can lay that ridge down when you cut it in those areas. You can pull that out and lay it down to have a gluing area if you're going to take it outside. If you're not going to take it outside, then you can come right in this area. And I'm going to lift that one, get a hold of one of those that's lifted up. You can take your scissors and you can trim it right down close to the edge. And you can clean all of that off with your scissors. Come back over here, pick up. And there's your center. Now I do have a few burrs. I would hold that over the trash can and I would do that one more time around it so that I cut off all those burrs. See how I'm cutting that little fine piece? That was a burr. Come right back in, cutting that one. Come right back in, cut that one. Because see, I had already put those lines in it. So come right back in and cut another one. And then there's one more right here. And there is your center for your flower. So to cut the flower petals, again, like I said, I don't I don't make a pattern for my flower petals. I never have. I can make a leaf. I can make flower petals out of the same cut that you do. If you want rounded shaped flowers, then you would cut up and cut across, kind of flatten them out a little bit and come back and then back down. You can, and you would have to, give them that little edge. And that's your rounded petal. Okay, you see that rounded petal? That would go right on. And in order to flatten it, or to round it out, you would fan it that way, and then fan it this way, pull it up to you, and it would fit right on the edge or right underneath that, and that would be your rounded petal. Oh, okay, Malia. Did you get a big book haul? I have got to come and watch because I love books. I love books. So that would be how you make a rounded petal. You can make that smaller. You don't have to have it that big. That would be, I would consider that a rose petal. You can make it that size. You don't have to have them big. Cut them any way you want to, any way that pleases you to the eye. These are my favorite. My favorite are the points. I like a flower that comes to a point. Always have. So I cut my pointed ones. And like I said, the nice thing about these is that they're easy to cut. You can start out with a big long one, depending on the size of your can. You can then, come to a smaller one with, you can cut your cans in half and do smaller ones. And you just cut this with your scissors, and you can see it cuts it cuts easier than cutting cardstock. So it's really simple to cut. It's not much of a strain, and your cuts are smooth. You don't have to worry about being cut. And then this little one could be a half petal, for something. And then we could pick up all the trash out of it and throw it away. I'll make sure I keep my trash can real close at hand so I don't lose those in the floor. You don't want them little pieces, up in your feet or wherever. So, I pick them up. I try to be very careful and watch where they might fly or where they might land, because, there's no doubt about it. But they're not as sharp as picking up a piece of glass. You can actually put your finger on them and, and stick your finger down and pick them up.
Mom,
So
I want to match, Mom.
Yay, Tom. So we've got this little one here that we've cut.
With the Viper.
And I'm going to cut these down because I'm going to show you what it looks like to have layers of petals.
Mom, with the Viper.
I'm going to cut this one down, and I'm going to put a point on it. And I hope you're seeing me. See,
Mama,
there, a piece went across.
One with the Viper.
Get that one off my desk, and these off of here. And let's see if I can lay this in here.
Mom,
I might be able to.
I said I want one with the Viper.
Okay. Come down with that. You don't want it quite as over that, but it did go in. Okay, there we go. You see that? I just made a smaller layer right there on that.
Mom, I said I want one with the Viper.
All right, Tom. My Tom's playing his wrestling this morning. He just won a big match. So Okay, there's another one that we
With
can slide in there
Edge, Mom.
with edge. Okay.
With edge.
Okay. Well, I'm online, so you might ought to let me be online and not talk about wrestling while I am.
So the with edge with the viper. Mom.
Hi, Gilbert. Susan, you're still hurting, honey? Oh, my. Okay, I'm cutting these down to make some smaller petals. Okay, I folded that wrong. You want the bottom folded to you, so it's folded up. And the other side, you just slide your finger along it and curl the edge just a little bit. And you can go in between these. Stick them in. Let's get this one moved over a little bit. This is still a little wet in the ink. And I don't have that one folded good. You need to fold it up just a little bit more so it's not laying right down on those. And that one's a little bit smaller. Those may not stay in there. But I wanted you to see that you could do this. And you can put as many rounds as you want to. I'm going to take this one and I am going to actually put it behind that one and show you that you can have another round. How that looks now with 3 layers on it. You could put as many petals as your heart desires on these flowers. I'm going to put this one behind the next 2. And I'm going to curve that down and curve this up. I always do that backwards the first time. And they manipulate well, so you don't have to worry about it. And as long as you can stick it under that, you can add extra things. Now this one needs to come over here and be in here. And it actually needs to be a bit smaller. So we're going to cut the tip down off of that just a little bit. And make it a little smaller to go right in there. And I put my curve in the wrong spot. But there you go. So any way you want to do them, you can just build on this to your heart's content. You don't have to have it. You don't have to have a flower pattern to look at. This is a fantasy flower. This is your flower. You can do anything you want to with this flower. You can make it look like you want to make it. You can do whatever you want to. And it's a fantasy flower. It's yours. You can have as many petals as you want. You can even make little bugs to go on them. You can take this and roll this up and make it look like a little bug. It's been done. And make a little a little roll and give it some feet. If you have some of this red, you have a ladybug. And you can just bend it around and set it up. I'm going to cut this off right here and come back here. The little pieces I do not like to cut because they fly. Now, if you had that on there and had a couple of dots in there, you would think ladybug. Let me get that turned over. Dadgummit. Have to place them just right. You could make that look like, with a couple of dots on the back end, you could make it look like a ladybug. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. It's in the center. You can take your hot glue, you can put some drips on it, and it will look like dew. Yeah, any kind of medium will cover these. You can paint these, but I just really like the stain look of the markers, and it will dry. Now, I have handled this over and over and over again, and it's still tacky. It takes a while for it to dry. But when you've handled them, you go in, you take your marker, you go back over it, and you put a little more down. Smooth it out. Smooth your fingerprints out. And remember, they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be. And if you run these through your embosser, they are absolutely gorgeous. So, you all need to try, put it in your mind that you can do this, because it's just a matter of cutting a petal and putting it on a disc. And I have this on a paper disc. So you see that? That's my back. If you don't want to try to color them, use the colorful backs of your cans. Let this be your flower. You don't ever have to do anything to it. So, but that's, and then of course I would color these all the yellows and do that kind of thing. You can even come out with a different color in the center. You could do a pink flower. You could do whatever you wanted. You can take your smaller pieces, and they don't have to be perfect either. Pull that one up and this one back, and you could add another one right in there. And like I said, you can just keep adding petals. So that was my tutorial for today. I hope you realize how easy they are to cut and manipulate and play with. Let me get my black marker real quick. My black. Where did I put it? That's the blue. I guess I must have laid it over here with these. There it is. Okay, because we were going to make this the ladybug. So you take your little black marker and you make, the black is permanent. So when you make your spots, you make sure you're going to put them in the right spot. And I'm going to put one there and get off of it. And there, and there, and there, and there. And then if you glue that right on the tip of this, you would think ladybug. And they don't have to be perfect. You're just giving the illusion of the bug. If you take your hot glue gun, let me get mine out and plug it in, and I will show you the dewdrops. You can take your, I have to get it unwound and plugged in, so you can get as fancy with these as you want to. All right, Vanessa. See you soon, honey. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to let this, I have turned it on and let it warm up, let it warm up. But you can make, I love the dewdrops. And that's something that you can do. And these, I keep these around. They're good little discs. If you want nothing but a little bit of water or a little bit of gel medium or whatever in something, you can put it right in that if you don't use it, which I didn't for this. So I don't know that I will leave those little ones, but I like them. I love them when they get full. So it is cool. It's a cool craft. It's a fun craft. And, a lot of people are afraid of it because they're afraid they'll get cut. But they really are not that bad. You want to watch the little pieces is the worst thing. Watch your little pieces. You can fingers. I just tap my finger on them and pick up the little pieces, the little shards that I think are there, which are marker pieces. And then just dump them. And I had all my paper out here because I was actually going to cut and just talk and craft. But then I wanted to do this, and okay, I'm starting to drip, so mine must be ready. It doesn't feel like it, but we're going to put a little dewdrop right there. Okay. Get your strings off of it. It's not quite hot, but you can fix, you know, just a little dewdrop. And if you put a little bit of glossy accents over that, that will really shine. So we'll do it again here, and I'll make a little bigger one. My heat gun was just melting the stuff out of the tip. There we go. Okay. Okay. There's the dewdrop. So it's something you can just build to. You can use your imagination with. You can create all. You can do daisies. You can do sunflowers. You can do, like I said, I did my dinner plate dahlia, and it was that big around, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I just cut a metal disc on that one for it to set on, and I had that many layers coming in to the, well, I started with the center layers around the circle of the dahlia, because I wanted them to come over and fold in. So I started with the center layers, folded them in, and then kept coming up around them, and then kept coming out. So it really turned out pretty. I give it to my daughter-in-law, and I think it's laying in their garage, and I don't think she ever hung it up. So it really irritated me because it was a lot of work, but that's what she wanted. And I told my son, I said, you know, you really need to get that on a post, because it didn't take your mama, you know, it's not like I worked on that for 5 minutes and said, here's your flower. I've worked on this and now for what? I don't even know how long that we've been on. They're not done in 5 minutes, but they are not slow either. You can make a really pretty flower or two, and that's not able to hold, because they're not, you know, I can just pull them right back out because they're not glued down. And the glue was, that one had a little bit on it, that one a little bit more because we got a little farther in it. That one can come out. But this is to me, my finished flower. This is all I'm going to do for in here, is just make some of these and put them on the wall. And they're real simple to make. And then I will use these around, throw these petals away. I'll put them in a little box, and I'll use them later for a piece. And, you know, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's, you know, it's something different. Kind of breaks up the cycle. And you could put these on a journal if people were not afraid of them. But if you put them in the center of it, you could put them on a journal. They would be very pretty in just about any journal. Oh, I dropped my ephemera. Let's get that up and get it right there. That goes in this book, though. That's why it was up there by itself. Okay. You see that? What you could do? It's just super, super cool looking on just about any kind of background you put on them. So, and like I said, they're not sharp. I wouldn't, and I love it on this journal. It may find its way on there because I kind of like that. My camera's not in focus and not in the where it's supposed to be, but yeah, I like it too. And you know, you can do that.
They'll need washed.
Oh, she's brought me pop cans. Yay. Put them in the sink and I'll wash them. Anyway, that looks just pretty cool. And it wouldn't take a few minutes to glue that on there. But I've got a little more work I want to do on it. So I'm going to lay it aside. And I got my journal put together. I'm now putting in some of the ephemera in the pockets. And there's a little envelope pocket. What?
I brought your measuring cup back here.
Thank you. Bye. My granddaughter. And anyway, it's turning out to be a pretty journal. I've got a lot of writing spots, but I've got a lot of pretty paper in it too. And I haven't got this far back in putting the ephemera in it, but in the front, I've got some pretty pictures done up on it. She's on the back of this card. I put this on it. This is part of a doily. This is an antique button. And this is part of a baby wipe. Then I done this pocket and put some trim on it. And I've got a belly band in here somewhere, but I don't know where it's at. But it is in here somewhere. Oh, right here with the seed packet. And so I'm getting some of the stuff, and I've got a bunch of stuff more to lay out and do. Here is the one of the side pockets, and I just used what was left over from the cardstock. Bye, Susan. Honey, take care, honey. I'm sorry you're buffering. Did you try to change your speed? Because when I go on steady stream, so when I go on YouTube, it streams really large. And this is just some that I printed out and book paper and, that kind of thing. There's my next card. I put her on there. And then on the back side, I made a pocket and put some ephemera in it. So, yeah, it's coming together. It's not going to be long before it's ready to go. This is actually a picture of a flower that bloomed in my yard. It has not bloomed again. It came up. I had never seen it. I've been here years. I'd never seen this flower. And 2 years ago, and we took pictures of it. It was, of course, not this big. This is way blown up. But it was absolutely beautiful. And then on the other side of that picture is a picture of my mock orange, which is in here somewhere. Of course, it's, let's see, am I in the second signature? Yes, I am. Okay. So where's the mock orange? It must be on the back this way. It'll be way back here. Only have 2 signatures, so you got to be getting close. It's a map. That's the end. Anyway, I actually go out and take pictures. Here's a part of the birthday card that have to be covered. Take some pictures of your own flowers. Use them in your journals. It's they make beautiful pictures in it. And where are you? Well, anyway, I have a picture of a mock orange in here somewhere because it was together. So that's a picture, one of my pictures. And then there's another one in here of a mock orange. And then I have irises that I haven't got out yet. But, just take some pictures in your own garden and let them be your inspiration for a book. This tag will probably end up in this journal because it is purple. It is purple and it will be beautiful in here. So it will probably end up in this one. And it's dry enough, I can just put it in there. So, girls, I'm guess I'm done. I haven't drank a bit of coffee, and it's cold. Is there anything you all want to talk about? Hi. Now remember, I have to look sideways to see what you're saying. Thank you, Adidal. I love this journal. You know, it took me a long time to get started on it. I just my crafting mojo was just off. It was just off. And you know, I finally decided go back to the things you love. Go back to doing what you started out doing. Go back to doing the, you know, the because I was trying to do a lot. I love the books I've made. Don't get me wrong. I love doing the art books. I love doing the sunflower journal. I love doing the altered book. All of those things are art to me. But I'm one of these people that will do something and see if she can do it, and then I'm done. Okay, I can do that. But the joy has gone out of it. Once I realized that, okay, you can do that, it's not too hard, then the joy goes out of it. The joy has never gone out of my books. They've never gone out of these journals and what you can put in them, because every one of them comes out just a little bit different feeling because of who you're making them for or what you're going to do with them. You know, it depends on, well, I let the cover speak to me. The cover, when I start the cover, it gives me the inspiration for the rest of the book in the colors, not so much in the, hi, Sherry. That's why you love me. Why? Yes, I seen that $80, and you know, I have never tried the nail polish, but I don't really want a full coat of paint. I'm happy with a stain look. Um, Here it is. Here it is. I'm happy with the stain look. I don't know why, but it's just a little shabby chic. It's not anything perfect, and I kind of like it, you know. And from a distance, you know, the farther back you go, the less you see those marks. So I can, oh my God, that sounds good. I've had tomato juice. 2 cans of tomato juice. But anyway, I love, and if I'd had that, I probably would have put that on there, on this journal, because I love that. And the yellow and together so well. I mean, it that speaks to me. That says, yeah, go forward and put your bright colors in it and do the things that you love to do, because I love bright colors. I like clean pages. I'm not much for, even though I like shabby chic, I am not much for grunging them up. I'm never have been. I do on some of them, but I don't like to grunge them up. There's something about a piece of this. There's something about a white piece of paper. I don't know if it's because I love to draw or what, but there's something that calls to me in this white piece of paper. And when I put that grunged edge around it, to me, it just looks dirty. And I can't get past that. It just looks dirty. So I'm not much for doing that. And I probably will not do that in this book. I'm not gonna antique this image. We all know we can make them look, and it's fun to make them look old, and it's something, and some I would, and this one I'm not going to, because my papers are not dark. They're all lighter colors, and I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to, this teacup, it's just teacup. And I like it. I like to grunge. But this one doesn't speak to me that way. This one says, stay pretty, springy. Don't put all that on it. It doesn't need it. Even though the pages are dyed, this is some of Spanky's dyeing here that I just dearly love. It's fine. I can have that in there, but I can keep the rest of it clean. I wouldn't do a thing to this except put something maybe on this back side. That's part of a card. And I just wanted to stay pretty. Just stay pretty and clean. There's an antique one. But it done any more than that. That's, that looks like an antique one to me. And, my roses, I'm leaving those because the person I'm sending this to loves to watercolor and do things like that. So and then of course the outside of it is white. It's got a white background. It's just doesn't say vintage it up to me. It just says, even though I dyed the lace and done that kind of thing, I put a little shabby chic rose on it. And I would put that on there. I would in a heartbeat. I'm going to think about that, because how pretty is that? How bright is that? Annabelle is feeling much, much better. She came in yesterday, and oh my God, she has lost so much weight, girls. She looks bad. I mean, she don't look bad because she's a young girl, and they never look bad, but she's skinny, and it really worried me. And she said she had to have, they poked her in the vein, and it really, really hurt. And I said, well, honey, it probably really, really hurt because you was probably really, really dehydrated. And you know how bad that hurts. When you're dehydrated and they can't find the veins, it hurts really bad for them to poke around on your arm. And yes, poor baby. And she said, Gigi, I just feel so bad. And I said, I know, honey. I know you do. I said, just lay down. And of course, I couldn't go over because I get everything. So I said, just lay down. I've got a mint container I'm going to alter. Look at my mint container. It says group therapy. Look at the wine. So I'm going to use that on an altered book. You were buffering. Cheryl, you're always buffering, honey. Bless your heart. And you are too, Patricia. It's not showing. My signal is steady on this side. And you have too. Okay. Well, I don't know why, because it's showing really steady over here. I'm not flashing. I'm not doing anything. I'm not, usually when it's buffering, the light will flash and give me that signal, but it hasn't been doing that. But there may be a lot of people coming on now because it is 11 something here. Of course, that's 12, almost 1 o'clock on Kathy's time. And I really need to get off of here anyway. And I can't get used to this sideways looking. When I look sideways, you all know I'm looking at you, okay? When I'm looking off to the side, I'm looking at you. When I look into this camera, I'm looking at the picture of the little girl and dog. Because there's not a thing there. I'm going to have to hang a picture of somebody right there so that I can talk to them. I'm talking to you. Oh, you're having storms? Well, see, now it's cleared here today. It's really clear here today. And, I'm pretty well done. I've done everything I can think of to do right now other than cut paper. And you all don't need to watch me cut paper. That's ridiculous. You know, you cut how many thousand pieces of paper, tore them and everything else. I was cutting them for tags. I'm cutting up junk mail. Yeah. Well, that may be, honey. It may be the storms. I don't know because I am, usually I have that little, I have lights on the bottom here where I'm streaming. And there's 5 lights, which would be an ultimate stream, which I'm not going to get because I'm in a rural area upstairs and running on Wi-Fi that is costing me an arm and a leg, I might add. Really not any better than what it was basically. And it's costing me $25 more a month, which makes me mad because my upload speed is 0.97. 0.97. That's my upper range of my upload speed. My download speed is only 2.87. So my computer's slow and there may be some delay because my computer is slow. But like I said, y'all know I'm talking at you when I look over this way because I'm looking at what you're saying and I'm looking at the computer. And I wish I had another camera that I could switch to right there. I don't know how to switch to the onboard camera here. If I did, I would. Yeah. Well, and there's going to be some periodic buffering on my streams because of where I'm at. But this time, today, I've really been holding steady. And I've not had any glitches. My second light has been coming on and off, but that's just giving me a more powerful signal. It's not a buffering. So, I don't know. But anyway, I've been on here long enough to get off of here and, tell you I love you and that I'm tickled to death y'all come in. And I've had a wonderful time. And again, if you see me looking over there, it's because I'm talking to you and I want to see what you're saying. Oh, you can. Well, I'm not on Hangouts, honey. I've not tried Hangouts. Nuh-uh. I just go, what? I can't see all the comments. I've got my screen shrunk a little here. I need to spread it out. Go full screen. Well, that's as far as it's going to go. Happy? I love you too, $80. I really do, sweetheart. You're such a sweet girl. And I love for you all to come in. Ian, thank you for coming in. Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, and that's I'm 5 miles out of town. I'm 5 miles from the nearest. I am close to a tower though. But that doesn't help my signal any because you pay for. So it's so good to see you, Ian. I'm wanting to, I've got to get into your streams because I'm wanting to watch you draw and paint and do your watercolors. I'm fixing to start doing some oil painting. I done a little acrylic. I'll put that in here. Have you been here all the time, Ian, or did you just come in? Did you see the tag? This is the tag that I painted with some acrylics. I have to remember that my camera is now up here. So I did that with some acrylics and, drew a little rose and, and I really want to do some oil painting. It's the medium I actually learned on. And I find it easier than the acrylics. The acrylics dry too fast. You don't get the smooth coverage that you do with the oil. The oil you can manipulate. So you've been here about 45 minutes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So good to see you here. And you're so talented. And I appreciate you coming in to see my little metal art. I have done so much more with metal than just that. This is just a small sample that I kept. And like I said, it needs to be cleaned up. My God, it's just filthy. Let me run a rag over it real quick, and then I'll turn the camera back down, and maybe you can see her a little clearer because I hadn't washed her since I brought her in. I just set her down, you know, just set her down. Bed. Now she's had some wear and tear. She's been outside in the rain, sitting on the porch. I'm going to turn my camera down, and it is upside down again because I've turned it over to me. But there's my Mickey Mouse, or my Minnie Mouse. And like I said, I've had her for 6 or 7 years that I've done that. I cut another one, Cheryl. I drank one and cut another one. Did you not see me do it? You come back on and watch the replay because I did. Yeah, I actually had to drink another tomato juice in order to cut the flour down. And I showed how you can keep adding to one. I cut these petals smaller. I did do that. And isn't she cute? And, you know, I done that off of a, it's not my art. And I'm not going to say it is. Tommy had a color book with her on there. And I looked at that color book. It is my art. I did not trace it on there, but I looked at the color book, and I drew her off of the color book. So, you know, you can decorate with them. You can put them down. You can put them down flat. You can hook them on. It's as you can see, it's getting it's been out in the rain, and it's, you know, it's just what it is. My box lid is it warped when I painted it. I spray painted this box with some, as you can see, around the edges with some acrylic paint and that I had, and glossy. And I use it for just my junk stuff. There's a new cutting blade that, wow, yay. I needed a new cutting blade. So, yeah, I did, Cheryl. You'll have to watch, honey, and see. And hugs to you, Ann. Glad you come in, honey. And, oh, you had brunch. Oh. So, Ann or Kathy, you heading off too? Anytime that you all are ready, I can go off, and you know, if nobody comes back on after a while, I may come on for a little while. Just I feel good today, and it just depends on how I keep feeling, and I'm not in a lot of pain, and I've moved furniture for 2 days, so I'm surprised about that. And you know, you're still here, and I've got a sewing area to do because my sewing area looks like a bomb went off. Christmas stuff so out. Oh my Lord, my Christmas set's in the closet in there. And oh, it's warmer. It's much warmer. And I have a pretty good size fireplace heater up here. And let me tell you, it warms this thing up till I actually have to turn it off, even when it's real cold. It helps that I'm away from the window now. I was running it a lot longer when I was sitting in front of the window. In front of the window, I had, you know, cold air coming in, and I took everything pretty out of the path of and just left you setting. Took it all away and just left you setting. and it's upside down. Is it upside down to you? See, it is to me because I'm supposed to be over here. I'm actually supposed to be like that. And this is the right way. So, anyway, I'll have to fix that. I had that fixed over on the other side, and I don't even know how. Mine just needed it. It had gotten so out of whack. I had gotten more supplies, more things, more stamps, more, had been given to me, and I needed a place to put them. I didn't have a place that I could store anymore. I filled up my box. I filled up my area. So now I've got a big box and it's filled up. No, it was not good for the fibro at all. At all. It was really hard on me. And so this way I get the warmth coming up the stairway, and I get the warmth from the stairway heater. And having the rack in the window helps to hold the curtain down so that it doesn't have that movement. It kind of blocks it. So that helps. And I could have put some plastic behind it, but I didn't have any up here, and I thought I'll be all right. If it gets that cold, I'm not going to come up here and do anything anyway, because it's just too cold to craft. At that point, I will probably curl up and do what I done last night, which was watch movies with Tom. We got our Roku set up. We've got some movies going again. Oh my God, Tommy was tickled. He found Garfield. He watched Garfield all afternoon with supper. I went online for just a little bit, and then I said, I want to see what's on my new channel setup or TV setup. So, and yes, I just moved my desk a little. I wasn't you. So I sat down and we turned on the TV and we watched one called I.O., which was really different, very different. And then we found Avengers, the war, the big war they had, which I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, we found it. And I am a big buff of comic book movies. I absolutely love them. I love the Transformer movies. I love the comic book movies. Infinity Wars. I love them. I just think they're awesome. And with the technology that they have today, of course, I grew up on Superman and and those kind of shows. And I mean, Superman with the old Superman. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound, faster than a steaming locomotive. Yeah, I grew up with that. And so I am a big buff. I hated Infinity Wars. I was so disappointed in the end of it. I was so disappointed in the way it. No, I haven't, but I would love to go. But it just didn't, to me, it just didn't end right. It didn't even feel like it left loose endings. It just felt like they just run out of anything to say and quit. And I was so disappointed in that. And then we turned around and watched another short movie, and it was the same way. Honey, I have watched every movie that's come out, every one of them. Yeah, because I love them, Marina. I love them. So yeah, I've watched them all. But I was just terribly I know that there's got to be more because they just left it hanging bad. But that's the thing, is they left it hanging badly. It wasn't that there's more to come. It wasn't that there was, it didn't give you any inkling that there was more to come. It didn't give you anything at all. It just stopped. And that's just not right. I mean, it's just not right. And then turned around and watched another one, and it did the same thing. It didn't have that feeling of it just stopped. Yeah, yeah. And Star Wars is awesome. The comic part, the book part, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I've done all the adventure movies. Oh my gosh, I've watched them every one. And sometimes, it takes a long time. I have to bring um Tom up to date every time a new one comes on. I have to say, remember when he had this happen, or remember when that happened, you know, because I have to bring him back up to date, and he remembers it then once I do, but I do have to kind of bring it back up. But no, we watch now. We don't watch the TV shows. I have watched Supergirl. I watched those on Netflix. And I was okay with Supergirl because I never really read Supergirl and I never really watched Supergirl. She was never a movie type thing. Of course, the first thing that happened was it looked like they killed Thor, which we knew he was a god. And to kill off Loki, oh my, excuse me, Loki helped make those films. Uh, you know, I'm talking about things that everybody else may not even care about. That Loki, he was the god of mischief. And of course he was a god, so I can't imagine him dying either. But yes, I have watched Black Lightning. Yeah, but it really, really gives you when the Hulk picked him up and flipped him over, and and where they first started fighting these creatures that they fought last night. And I can't think of his name right now because my brain doesn't work like that, but I'll think of it 15 minutes later. But anyway, when he picked him up and he flew him back and, back and forth across his head, he said, petty God. I love that. And my grandbaby, my 4-year-old grandson, he, he, when that comes on, he's just stuck to it and he'll say, petty God. It was really awesome. So anyway, well, I'm just kind of rattling on. Star Wars will always be awesome. Oh my gosh, and they're really, the technology for making these movies has improved so much that it's like you can actually, when the first time I saw the Transformers transform in the movie, I was like, oh my Lord, how many sequences or how many even on a computer, how many sequences did they have to go through in order to get that smooth of a transform? I mean, can you imagine? And then get the right sound to each one of them. This thing forming from a car into a robot. It's just just the sound effects was something. It helps my creativity. But hey, really, I mean, I loved the Transformers, and I have the whole set. We had the whole box set. We don't have, we didn't get to go see like I wanted to. I wanted to go see Bumblebee, but they've made him a beetle bug in this one. And, but he was on Earth for a long time before he was called up to protect the guy in the first Transformer movie. He was stuck here, even though he could still transform. So, I imagine he'd gone through several phases, but he was, they made him a Volkswagen to start with. And I don't know what he ends up because I haven't seen the movie, and I am looking forward to seeing that. And of course, I love a good drama. And if I can find a drama movie, I am all the more for it. But it has to be, I want it to be a good drama. I want it to have a good story. And I don't want it to be F this and F that through the whole movie. Have some dialogue, for God's sakes. I've always said that the F word is, that would be awesome, wouldn't it, Cheryl? They have the F word thrown in there to get a rating. If you did say it a couple of times, you can get the R rating. I understand that. So they do it. But why even do it? If the story is good, the plot is good, the line is good, yeah, I know. Then you don't need, there I buffered. I've seen the buffering then. You don't need that word in a movie with good dialogue. And actually, some of those movies have rated higher than any other R-rated movie that you can have. So I don't know why they absolutely want to do that. I don't understand why they think it's absolutely necessary to get an R rating. Now I'm buffering. And I've been on for 2 hours and 11 minutes. And so since I'm buffering and I'm beginning to get tired and wanting to go downstairs and take a little break because I don't have a bathroom up here. So I'm going to just go ahead and get off and tell you thank you all for coming in. And I've had a wonderful time. And I would pull this back up, but I am now upside down. And I've had a wonderful time, but I'm doing this upside down. Bye. I've enjoyed visiting and I've enjoyed doing the craft for you. And I hope you try it out and give it a try and see what you can do with it. It's not as sharp as you would think it is. The only time that it's really sharp is when you're cutting the top off of it. And if you have a good knife, mine is dull as it can be, as you can tell by the looks of it. The blade is extremely used. So get you a good blade and they'll come off nice and easy. So I'll talk to you all later. And if I don't see anybody on, I will probably come on and yak at you again. Have a good day. Love you all. Okay, I have to end now, don't I? Bye.